there folks, the Comics Kid 2099 here, and as I do most of the time on Saturdays, I'm here to talk about an episode of a superhero animated series. Today, I will be talking about the Batman Beyond Season 3 episode Betrayal, so if you haven't seen that episode and you don't want to be spoiled, go watch it because I will be spoiling in this video. Or if you've seen it but it's been a while, then stick around as I do spoil the plot, and then follow it up with a review. So here we go. Charlie Big Time Bigelow, Terry's former friend from his days as a juvenile delinquent, is out of prison and is helping another dude who is very obviously just using Big Time for his body. Big Time appears to be just a big dumb brute, but he brings Terry to their hideout, air quotes accidentally lets Terry escape, pours on a sob story so that Terry thinks that he's reformed, Terry calls the police, Big Time's inner circle is arrested, and now Big Time is in charge of the gang. Terry manages to defeat Big Time with an ambiguous ending on whether Big Time is still alive or not at the end. Cue credits. So, the bare bones plot of this episode is exactly the same thing as the previous episode with Big Time. Terry's former friend is back, Terry gives him the benefit of the doubt, but his compassion is turned against him as his former friend betrays him. Sure, there's a few differences, like in Big Time's debut episode, Terry spent quite a bit of the episode not ready to accept that Big Time wasn't going to turn his life around. Here, we still get that, but it comes at the end of the episode instead of taking up the first 2/3 of the episode. And in Big Time's debut, he spent a lot more time angsting about his physical deformities at the end, while here, he seemingly accepted his physical appearance and is instead angsting about his partner in crime not treating him as an equal. But despite these cosmetic differences, unfortunately, when you get past all of that, the characters are still going through the same decisions and choices that they were in the previous episode with Big Time. So when I came away from this episode, I felt like I had already seen it and enjoyed it more the first time. Yeah, I had some problems with the Big Time episode, mainly that we were getting this episode in Season 3 instead of Season 1, when Terry is acting like an idiot would have been easier to swallow. But at least the episode was exploring some of Terry's past, showing us what Terry could have been if the circumstances were different. Here, I don't feel like we're really getting anything new that we didn't already get in that episode. If anything, Terry making the same rookie mistake again makes him even more of an idiot than it did the first time. And while I was willing to give Terry a pass in that episode because he's trying to give Big Time a chance that Bruce gave him, now he's just a straight up moron for buying into this when he knows good and well what kind of person Big Time is. Having said that, even though Terry should know better, I will freely admit the only reason I suspected Big Time wasn't being honest with him was that his heart-to-heart was happening with a full 7 minutes of episode to go. If this scene had taken place around the 18-minute mark, I might have been able to buy that Big Time was really wanting to turn his life around, even though he had ample opportunities to do that in his debut episode and in this episode. So I guess I should give this episode some kudos for making Big Time's whining throughout this episode somewhat believable as foreshadowing for what he does, as well as what Terry believes he's doing. Overall, I just don't have that much to say about this episode, because everything I could have said, I already said about the previous Big Time episode. It's not even an especially terrible episode. There have been worse episodes in this series, like Heroes or Out of the Past, but this one hits a new low in this series because it is maybe the least innovative, and for me anyway, the least interesting as a result. Even the worst episode of this series offers more in the way of characters doing different things in different situations than this episode does, which is why I disdain this episode as much as I do. But that's just my thoughts. What did you guys think of the episode and of my review? If you like this review, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And if you did like this review, you're in luck because I do this sort of thing every weekend. Next week, I'll tackle an episode of Batman the Animated Series, and the following week, I'll be talking about the 2-part Batman Beyond episode, The Curse of the Cobra. And I also do other videos throughout the week, so be sure to check those out too if you're interested. In the meantime, you guys have a great rest of the day. Catch you later.